All right, lads, Imperial Bodybuilding here. You know the score. I bring you the latest bodybuilding news. And we have a shock result in the Tsunami Pro. Quint Beastwood will not be going to the Olympia. Your winner was Sergey Danilov. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest with you. This was Quint's fifth show of the season, and I felt sorry for him, even though Sergey Danilov, lads, I'll be honest, I've never heard of this guy in my life. If you've heard of him, let me know. But I thought watching the show that it was well deserved. And let's be honest, when you do 5 shows, your body's just holding too much water. But just focusing on the winner, Sergey Danilov, this was him just a few days out. Lads, I think he looks insane. He's got a look of Jordan Hutchinson. This guy has been training in Black Dolphin prison. You know, typical Russian, comes out of nowhere and just shocks everyone. No one knows who he is on social media. Nick Strength and Power said he knows who he was, but lads, he didn't know. No, none of us knew, because no one was talking about him in the preview. But if you just look at him here, as I said, he looks similar to Jordan Hutchinson. Just absolutely razor sharp. Hasn't got the prettiest physique, but look at the density. Look at the shoulders, the chest, the legs, just absolutely bulging. He's got that pixelated skin, that 3D-like pixelated skin that just looks great and dense on stage. So as we get into the poses, I just thought he was harder than Quint. Look, after your second, third show, your body it doesn't want to maintain this lean weight. Your body thinks it's dying. And I don't think this was Quint's best look. I think if he would have turned up like he did in Italy, I think he would have won the show. As you can see from the back though, the traps on Sergey were just absolutely... He was rock solid from the back, and I think this is where he won. You see Fred Flintstone on the right, the far right. Hassan Mustafa, I thought he looked great. A couple of days out, he was looking sharp. I thought he might win the show. But obviously, looking at Hassan, he still looks about 50 weeks out. I don't think we're ever going to see him in condition. Lads, he's only 34 years old, so it's not like he's old and over the hill. But I just don't think he can peak at his absolute best. But as you can see, the conditioning, the density on Sergey Danilov it was too much for Quint. As you see here, Fred Flintstone. Look, this was a couple of days out for Hassan, and if you look at the muscle density and just the size of Hassan, he's a specimen to look at, and he's always going to place in the show, especially a smaller show like this. And I thought, looking at the back, like, he looks in condition just to the naked eye, but look, he's got the lighting, and the lighting wasn't the best at this show. But Hassan, he's a marvel. You can't say that he's not. He just sticks out because his muscles are so big, he's so dense. And I think in pose for pose, he's very good in the transitions. It's just when he gets onto the stage, he looks like Mr. Earl off the dinosaurs. He just falls to pieces and just looks like a big block. That doesn't take away from his shape. And also, James Hollingshead, who is one of my favourite bodybuilders. He's one of my favourite personalities. I think he's a great guy. I would like to spend time with him and train with him. But lads, he just seems very, very hard to diet. It seems every coach that he gets with can never peak him. I think he peaked really well for the British Pro, the British Grand Prix a couple of years ago. And that was about it. But since then, James, he's been so underwhelming. You know, a bodybuilder with huge potential, and he's way into his 30s now, his mid to late 30s. For me, I think it's getting to the twilight of James's career because he's not putting it together and he seems to be getting worse. Lads, let me know what you think. James Hollingshead, where does he go from here? Because he's been with all the top coaches, Milos, Patrick Tor, and I think Patrick was the only one to really dial him in. But since then, look, he looks like a classic guy, just a slightly bigger classic guy. Moving on to Stefan Matala. As you all know, Stefan parted ways with Patrick Tor just a few days out, which was a very, very strange move. I don't know exactly what happened there. But look, Stefan finished in 5th place. And I thought he looked good. I don't think he's an Instagram bodybuilder. I think, look, the 3D muscle bellies, there are certain aspects of his physique which are just world class. But look, the only problem that he had 2 problems this show. One, he wasn't conditioned, and maybe if he stayed with his coach, we would have seen a tighter Stefan. But he just doesn't have the size. Look, he's really trying to hold that pose in there to emphasize the size in the back, but it's just not there. He needs to stop dancing. He needs more polish. But look, he is a specimen. He's got those amazing 3D shoulders. He needs to stop filtering his pictures. They all need to stop filtering the pictures because they're just exposed on stage. What do you think, lads? I mean, why are bodybuilders putting filters on their pictures on Instagram? Because they have to go on stage. No, I understand it gets likes, but at the end of the day, people are going to start calling you an Instagram bodybuilder. Now, in other news, we have a collab with Eric Janicki and Mike Sommerfeld. Now, a lot of YouTube commentators are taking this out of proportion. Mike Sommerfeld is a week or two out from the Olympia, and he's running compounds, guys, that are going to make him angry. So during this conversation, we see two egos clash, and this is not abnormal. You know, it's two guys full of testosterone, and they're just having fun. And obviously, they have different training styles. So just listen into the conversation. Let me know what you think.
Change it, so we don't change any angle. That means mechanically, we don't change anything.
You are changing the angle because you're dropping your hips lower.
No. Yes, but the torque itself does not change.
The external force changes.
I don't know what it, bro. You need to try it. Try it.
I know. This is literally like I've made my whole lifting career off of this whole principle. Now let's do the extreme of this here, all the way back.
I get it. We're changing the angles in seat position. That's totally correct. We're changing the knee, the knee flexion, changing the back.
It's the same way.
It's the same. Yeah.
It's the same way as.
But the weight should not change. But the weight changes. That's
yes,
the thing.
The weight feels heavier from a torque perspective, from a force, mechanical tension. Like we're decreasing the angle here, then it's gonna.
We're talking two different languages. You're talking about something totally different than me. You're absolutely right.
And what I'm explaining to you is that we're talking about the same thing.
We don't.
We are, because you're saying it's heavier, but nothing's changed.
It can't be heavier.
It's not.
It can't be. It's not possible.
It's not heavier.
Exactly, but it feels heavy, and I'm trying to find out why.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, forget it.
Placement. Get a ton of torque, but you want us to do this free squat? How many sets have you done on the free squat? How many sets in are you here?
How many?
How many sets are we doing?
0.
Huh?
None of the sets do count. None of them.
These?
No.
Why?
Because we played around like kids.
So
it's not a working set. I do working.
All right, so fucking tell me, are we doing this one or this one? You tell me.
This one.
Okay, I'll show him how to play around like a kid. Hope he keeps up.
Look, lads, I don't think it's abnormal for two bodybuilders to clash, and especially taking into consideration how much shit they're actually on. I remember when I was on Masteron and testosterone, an old woman, for example, would cut me up when I was driving my car. And I would literally say, look, I'd look at her and say, me and you, outside now, and I will F you up. 2 minutes later, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing? What are you saying? So the drugs will make an angry person even angrier. And if you've got a short fuse, they'll give you an even shorter fuse. But I don't think Mike's cocky. I think he's very stuck in his ways. He has a very unique way of training, which is tailored to him. But I don't think he's cocky. I saw a recent interview where he said that the best man at the Olympia will beat him. He wasn't cocky. He was just confident. So this is my take. But you get these YouTube commentators that just over-dramatize things, and it's just, there's no need. And last but not least, I just want to talk about Vito. We have an update from Vito, who is 2 weeks out from the Olympia. Lads, I want to know what your thoughts. I'm impressed, even though he puts 200 times filters on his pictures. I'm impressed by Vito. This was 2 years ago when he went up against Martin Fitzwater. I thought he should have won, but he's improved dramatically now. And if you look at him in certain shots, the front double, the side chest, the side tricep, I think this man can go on and win the Olympia. I do. He's only 28, 29 years old, so he's still young. He's still growing in maturity. But if you look at the side leg, if you look at the chest, if you look at the arm, he's got everything. The only thing and the only place that he needs to improve on is the back, the fullness. And he is massively improved. He's massively improved, but he is not as genetically gifted from the back as he is the front. Now, if you look down below, just the solidness and completeness on the quads, on the glutes, on the hamstrings, he's got probably the best bottom half in the whole Olympia. I don't know who's got better legs than him. Maybe Rubiel. Let me know what you think. But it's going to be such an interesting Olympia when you have all these up newcomers like Rubiel, Good Vito. as Kalasinski. I think we're coming into another golden era, if I'm honest. Let me know what your thoughts are, lads. Are you excited for this Olympia? Do you think with Nick Walker, Hadi Chopin, with all the big four and all these new up-and-comers coming through, is this going to be one of the best Olympias that we've seen? Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you haven't already, leave a comment, a subscribe, and I will see you soon. We are 2 weeks away from the Olympia. Take care, guys, and have a good weekend.